Karen for OHC. Welcome to Creating Space. You caught me fixing my teeth there. But today we're going to talk about being fabulously you. And joining us from Mexico is Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, Daniel Tuttle. Hi,
Hi,
Daniel.
guys. Good
Welcome to
morning. How
Creating
is everyone?
Space. We're good.
Thank
We're
you
so
so
excited
much.
that you're here. You know what? We saw you at Junaline's FB Live, and you were
Uh-huh.
just so comfortable in your own
Aw.
skin, so willing to be seen, and so unapologetically you. And I was thinking, in the Philippines, they asked, how to be you po? Like, in my head, I'd just like to ask, how can I be like that? How can be as fabulous as he is? And so that's really your energy. So thank you so much
That
for
is
saying yes
the
to this.
kindest, sweetest thing ever. I thank you so, so much. I believe in Tagalog you say salamat po, yeah?
Yes, we say salamat
And
po.
thank you. I'm so honored. Yeah, how do you become more of who you be? You ask. Every day I ask myself, like, how can I be even more myself, right?
Yeah.
Because we've gone through so much uh all of that garbage, through our lives where people, places, and situations have said, nah, you better behave like that, Karen, or you better act like that,
Right.
or that's not very ladylike of you, or that's not good, And what we know to be true is like, none of those things are really, really authentically who we be. And when we tap into who we truly be, then, as Dr. Dane here says, that's how we change the world, right?
Right. Being who we truly are, that's how we change the world. But Daniel, I was just thinking, was there ever a time when you were normal? Or was there ever a time when you were afraid to be you?
Yeah, sorry, Karen, I'm having some crazy Wi-Fi things right now. I'm just gonna fix something, okay?
All right, okay.
Can
It's
you hear
okay,
me okay?
but we can hear you okay. You're clear. You're coming in clear. And then you froze. So, yes, Daniel in the house. Daniel is here joining us from Mexico. And you woke up early for this. What time is it in Mexico?
I did. I did. It is 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh, that's so early.
I know it's crazy, but you're worth it. You're so worth it.
Oh my
All of
gosh,
you guys are
thank
worth
you
it.
so much for waking up this early. It's
Oh,
around 8 p.m.
thank
here in the
wow.
Philippines. Yeah.
Amazing.
And my
Fantastic.
question to you was there ever a time when you were like trying to be normal? Or was there ever a
Of
time when you're
course.
not you?
Yeah, of course. I usually found that not being me was not mine, meaning I was always, always, always around other people and situations. In the States, especially, you grow up and you want to be popular and you want to be really, really cool and you want to make sure that you're liked and you want to make sure that you fit in. And I was always, always, always like, for lack of a better term, a pink flamingo in in the football field. You could spot me anywhere, no matter what, and I wouldn't even be doing anything or dressing crazy. I was just always had that energy of people being like, "Who's that?" or "What is that?" or and that comes with a lot of
Right.
criticism, of course,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it also builds what they call a thick skin, and that thick skin is something that, as I grew up, I had to learn to shed. I had to learn how to actually say, you know what, all of those points of views and those judgments and those conclusions about me are not even mine, right? They're not even mine.
Mhm.
That's not how I feel about myself. When people say those things or do those things or act that way, I recognize, you know what, that's not me at all. And then once I had the awareness that it wasn't mine, then I could shift it and then I could change it. And, in Access, we have an amazing tool called Who Does This Belong To? Right.
Right.
And so if you find yourself in a place and you find yourself in that place and you keep asking, ugh, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand this. This is not me. What you want to begin to do is ask, who does this belong to? Asking questions is one of the greatest things that we can do, right? And we ask
Right.
questions, not asking questions to receive an answer, but asking questions for awareness. And once we create that awareness, then we can say, oh, all of a sudden it starts to get light. You know, once you start to use who does this belong to, 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 then you can return to cinder, and you can return to
Right.
cinder with consciousness. I'm sure so many of the community, the people that are watching, you guys, you know, you're probably what I perceive naturally all intuitive healers yourself. You're people on a mission to change the world. So
Right.
we're empaths, right? And as an empath, we're taking on energy all the time. And that energy
True.
is not is 99% of the time not ours. And so imagine if we could be more of who we truly be by just saying, having an awareness of like, oh my gosh, I feel insecure now. Okay, who does that belong to? Because that doesn't belong to me. Return to sender, right? Having that awareness to be able to choose constantly, like, hey, peace out. I'm gonna be me.
So you were saying before you can sense the perception of other people around you, and so you
Yeah.
can hear their judgment. That's why, like, and you mentioned that you stick out like a sore thumb. Well, that's how it looks to me. You say you're like a flamenco in a
Exactly.
football field.
Yeah. So what was the question, sweetie? I'm sorry.
So you were saying, oh yeah, I just want to clarify that you can sense, you can perceive
Yes.
and hear what people are saying.
Exactly. All the time. And we all can, Karen. It's not that I'm just some intuitive, psychic being that only I can do it. Every single one of us has the ability to do it. The thing is that we've blocked off our own awareness. We've blocked off our own knowing because maybe we're afraid of that power. Maybe we're afraid to step into that ability. Maybe we're afraid to be too much, as they say, right? That's what they always used to say
That's
to me. They were like, Daniel, you're
true.
too much.
So were there times when you were afraid to be you because you're afraid to be judged as too much? Did you
Of
like cut off
course.
parts of you just
Of
so they will
course.
be able to accept you?
Absolutely. Probably, Karen, most of my life, to be honest with you. I grew up in the entertainment business. I don't know if you knew that about me, but I grew up in
Nice.
the entertainment business and I worked in film and television and I was on stage. I worked on stage and whatever. And there's a lot of I'm gonna say prejudgments that come with all of that, right? I grew up in it. I grew up doing theater. And even in theater, when everyone is fabulous and big and bold, there were always those people that were the decision makers, right? Whether they were the casting directors or whether they were other directors or whatever, there were these big decision makers. And these big decision makers were the people with all the judgments, and they would always say, yeah, you know what, you should tone it down a little bit because that person might be uncomfortable by you. So my
Mm.
whole life, I was kind of navigating, trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be, just so that I could get a job, just so that I could fit in, just so that I could have an opportunity.
Right.
And if in retrospect, if I looked back on it now, I'd actually stop and say, this is probably the coolest, coolest thing that they could have. And so why would I try to hide who I truly be? And when what would really, really, really change the world, what would really sell, for lack of a better term, because that's what it's about, right? It's about selling things. It would be me, you know?
When did you decide that I will not take your judgment and I will just really be unapologetically me?
I would say that's a really good question. I think, you know, I'm going to be really, really vulnerable and really honest. And I would say fully me, and I'm going to say 99% of the time, I would say when I started using access consciousness tools, right? When I started to
Mm.
use access consciousness tools and I started um, to recognize and realize how to choose differently and choose outside of those limitations that I'd always bought for myself. And I would say when I started, I'm sorry, this thing is
It's
keeps
fine. It's fine. Sai is saying out of control, and people are saying, Danny, fun, fun, fun ahead. People are just so happy that you're here. So we lost Daniel for a bit, but hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about being fabulously you with the fabulous Daniel Tuttle, and he's joining us from Mexico, and he is back. There you go. Hi Daniel. Yay, you're back. Hello.
Now I can't hear anything.
Oh no, what's happening? Probably you can get out and then you can go back again.
Hold on 1 second.
So it's okay. So we're out of control here. How does it get any better than this? So people are here. Thank you for joining us. Can you please comment below if you have questions for Daniel? We are talking about being fabulously you, and Daniel is woke up early for this. It's 6 a.m. in Mexico, but he's joining us. Thank you everyone for being here, Jenny and Sai. And there's Daniel. Hi. Sai is saying out of control.
I still can't hear.
You still can't hear anything?
No, I
Okay.
still can't hear.
Oh
Hmm.
no. I don't know what's happening. How about can you go back?
For all
Can you
of
get
those
out and
of you can say that again. I'm so sorry.
we can hear you. You can't hear
You can
us?
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I can't hear you. It
Oh.
sounds like a robot.
Oh
Very
no.
slow.
Oh no. But we can hear you. Yep. Yep, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay. How about you get out and come back again? I don't know what's happening.
How
Okay.
does it get any better than this? What else is
Yes.
possible?
What else is
How does it get
possible?
any better than this? What else is possible?
Yes, that's so true. Probably people can type in comments, questions. Lali, how about you type in my questions for Daniel and then Daniel can answer it. And we'll just and people are
I
saying,
love
love
it.
your enthusiasm, Daniel.
Oh,
Fabulousness. Questions via chat. Guys, Daniel can't hear me. So can you please ask your questions to Daniel and I'll just flash it so he can answer it.
yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Yeah. Just type in your questions, guys, and your time to shine. So there. Thank you. So this is what we'll do.
You can
We'll
hear me
type in.
okay? Yeah, all is good
Yes,
on you?
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
because
yes.
I'm having a hard time doing it.
At,
I'm just going to talk a
yeah.
little bit.
Yes. Go, go,
Okay.
go, 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 go. Let's go.
Ah.
Go, 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 go.
So you asked me such a beautiful question about, when I actually fully embrace being me. And I think for me, that was the opportunity to use the access consciousness tools. And when I started to learn them and started to become more aware, and I started to see that there was a world outside of what I was choosing, then all of a sudden things started to become clearer. Right. And in Access, we talk about the power of asking questions and asking questions as the gift that creates awareness for us. When we have awareness, that awareness is something that is only ours. It's not somebody else's, right? And you can navigate this universe and you can navigate this universe and you can say, okay, that's not right, or that's wrong, or that doesn't feel good, or this is this and this is that. But instead, if we just tapped into the energy of something, if we tapped into the energy of something, Karen, and we said, okay, is this light for me? And or is this heavy for me? And if we tap into that energy and get a sense of if it's light or heavy, what we know is that if something is light, it's a truth. If something is heavy, it's a
It's a
lie.
lot.
And
Yes.
so every single one of us, there are nearly 8 billion people in the world, right? And
Mm.
with 8 billion people in the world, there's going to be a lot of different awarenesses about what is light and what is heavy.
Was heavy.
And so, what might be light to you, Karen, might be heavy to me, and what might be heavy to me might be light to you. And that's why using the question to grab that awareness is how we can navigate that vibrational experience. So if you and I, so for example, let's just say that you feel judged, right? Or you feel like someone is not hearing you and not listening to you. And you you continue to ask, okay, so who does this belong to? Who
Long
does this
to.
belong to? And maybe for them, from where they came from what they know, their judgment feels light. But that
Right.
doesn't mean that you have to be in a position or to be in a place in which you have to lower yourself to be what they expect you to be. And that's when you choose differently. That's when you choose to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to remove myself from this scenario or this situation, or I'm not going to put myself around with people who actually are more in a vibrational alignment with me, you know?
Right. Right. Can
So
you hear me now? Not yet. Not yet. Lali, can you just type in the questions I have for Daniel in the chat box? It's in the in Messenger, and then Daniel can just flash it, and then Daniel can answer that. It's the questions are on Messenger. Thank you everyone for being here. Can you please help us out because Daniel can't hear me? So you
thank
have to
you
type in your
all.
questions. Yes.
Hi, guys. It's so
Hi
wonderful to see
everyone.
so many
Thank you for
beautiful
being here.
faces.
We need help because Daniel can't hear me. So can you please comment your questions to Daniel? And we're talking about being fabulously you, how to be unapologetically you. Please comment your questions. Lali, I have questions in the chat box on Messenger. So if you can like flash it,
So,
there
Karen,
you
I would love
go.
to ask
Oh,
you,
there.
yes, can I please explain what access consciousness is? Yes? Amazing. Absolutely. So, access consciousness is a body of tools. Basically, it's a body of tools. There's something like 8,000 tools in access consciousness that create more awareness, that create more of the opportunity to you for you to become more of who you truly be, right? And so, to say that access is, let's say, a spiritual modality or that it's a healing thing or whatever, the minute that we do that, we put it into a box, right? The minute we do that, we
Right.
put it into the box. And when we put something into a box, then we usually can't see it as something else. And so in Access, we don't say that we're a spiritual modality or this or that. We kind of say we're all of it, right? According to Gary Douglas says that consciousness allows everything and judges nothing. And so imagine that awareness in your life to allow everything into your life. Allow everything into your life and allow it to be a contribution for you. And that energy of allowance creates a space, right? It creates a space for people to actually be themselves, right? You don't have to buy other people's judgments, other people's points of views, other people's ideas. But instead of saying, I don't believe in that, that is horrible, or that does not work for me, you can say, wow, that's an interesting point of view. Thank you for your sharing your awareness. Instead of creating the resistance, if we allow ourselves to be, can you, first of all, I mean, come on, guys, can you imagine living in a world where there was more allowance instead of
Sure.
resistance in the world, where there was this place in which people could actually be themselves to express whatever they wanted to express, and it was up to us whether we chose to bring it in or to allow it into our life. And I think the gift of access consciousness is really empowering you to know what you already know. We all know deep and down inside that we're kind souls. We're meant to be on this planet to care for each other. We're meant to be
Yes.
here to care for the planet. We're meant to be here to create more. And
Yeah.
and when we get out of judgment, we're allowed to do that. And speaking of which, I see my amazing friend Junaline here,
Yes.
and
Junaline.
she is such
Hello.
a contribution. Hi, Junaline.
Hi,
Mahal
Junaline.
kita. Mwah.
Oh, so sweet. Next question, Lali. And if you have questions for Daniel, please feel free to type it in. He can't hear me, but we're doing this anyway. How does it get any better than this? Please send in your questions. Lali, can you please type the next question? Oh, this one.
How did access consciousness rock my world? I love that question. Well, you know, the let's say the intro class to access is called the access bars, right? And the access bars is this amazing, amazing hands-on body process. And there are 32 access points in the brain. Ooh, my hair is not looking so fabulous this morning. There are 32 access points in the brain, right? And when we actually touch them ever so lightly, they create a sense of space. They create a sense of ease in our life. And so in the Access Bars class, you will learn certain tools about certain tools that we have in Access, like 10, 15 tools that we have in Access. And then you'll learn the Access Bars body process. And that body process is really, really, truly designed to help you relax. So if you imagine that your head is like a computer, right? And you have all of these wires that are crisscrossed and going crazy, and you're like, "Wah! I don't understand any of this." When you have your
Right?
bars run, all of a sudden everything just kind of melts, and everything becomes this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy of receiving. So it teaches you how to receive. And we know that everything that is showing up in our reality is a result of something we've asked for, right? It's a result of a question, or it's a result of a demand that we've put out into the universe. So if things are showing up in your life that you don't like, what can you do to change your reality? And you want to begin to ask those questions to create the space so that your reality actually does shift. Now, the question was, how did Access rock my world? So I took the Access Bars class in Israel, actually. It was something that was kind of haphazard. I not haphazard, but I was doing another spiritual thing. I'd studied Kabbalah for 18 years, so I was there
Kabbalah.
on a really big a big journey of like a spiritual retreat. And somebody there had said, "Hey, I had heard about this thing called the Access Bars. Do you want to do it?" So I did it,
Mhm.
and it rocked my world. It definitely rocked my world. But I'll tell you, I said, "You know what? That's enough for me." And that's where it
Mm,
stopped, right? The minute that I wasn't willing to ask more questions,
for
I
more.
left it there and I let it stop. So I did access bars. I did the bars. I even became a bars practitioner and a bars facilitator for many years. And then, the second class after access bars is called the Access Consciousness Foundation class. And the foundation class was something that I always had all of these interesting points of views about, oh, it's so expensive. It takes a lot of time. It's a 4-day class. It's so expensive. It takes a lot of time. I don't know if I can make the space for that. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And so I never took it. It was not light for me. Well, I thought that it wasn't light for me, but I was making judgments about why it
About
wasn't light
it.
for me. And
Mhm.
then finally, one day, I was invited to this gorgeous mansion on the beach that was a friend of mine's home, and she invited about 7 people, and we did the foundation course. And
There.
when you do the foundation course, nothing is ever the same. Nothing is ever the same. And I took this foundation course, and I literally like couldn't sleep at night. I'm in this gorgeous mansion. The ocean is there, and I couldn't sleep because I knew I was so excited about the changes that were occurring in my life. And I had no idea. I couldn't tell you what it was. I had no physical, verbal explanation of what was going on. But at the end of those 4 days, I said to the facilitator that was giving the class, I said to her, I was in such gratitude. I was like, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for this. And I asked her, I said, how do I do this? I would like to teach this class. I would like to facilitate this class. And she said, well, you would become an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and this is what that looks like. And it's a very extensive process to become an Access CF.
Yes.
And for the first time in my life, I asked all the questions that were necessary to take me on that journey. So I asked, okay, what will it take to get me here? And of course, then I look at my bank account and my bank account goes, you don't have enough money to do all of those things. And I go, and then I said,
Cool.
show me, what will it take? What will it take for me to have that amount of money that needs to be in my bank account? What will it take for me to go to Istanbul to do these courses? What will it take for me to do this? And I kept just asking questions.
Asking
And it was
questions.
amazing because things showed up. And the process of becoming an Access CF was something that rocked my world too. And every day I use these tools in my daily practice. I use them with my clients. I use them with my students, and that's how it rocks my world. It rocks my world every day. It rocks my
Mm,
world when all of a sudden you have this like crazy things that that used to annoy me, that used to like make me go nuts, and then I just ask a question, I pop a question, I tap into the energy, and I choose differently, and that rocks my world.
right.
Because how often do we give all of our energy over to this crap, right?
True.
This crap that
True.
blocks our
True.
consciousness, the crap that gets in the way of us being us, the crap that gets in the way of us being rich, being fabulous, being powerful, being miraculous, being potent. Because we say,
Yes.
"Oh my gosh, I can't do that. I don't have enough money. I'm afraid of what this person will think. What is going to happen if I choose that? And what if I say this?" No.
You're right. Thank you so much for that. And we have another question from
Of
Andrea.
course. What has been the most surprising or amusing discovery you have had about yourself or others or life as you continue to destroy and uncreate your reality with POVs on a daily basis? Ooh, Marielle, such a great question, my dear. Such a great question. The most surprising or amusing discovery. You know, I'm surprised and I'm amused almost every day, and I'll tell you why. I'm surprised and amused because when all of those walls and barriers melt and I see other people for who they truly be, I I fall in love with them. You know, I'm like, wow, I see your soul. I see your kindness. I see your infinite being. And the discovery of being able to see who someone truly be, as we say in Access, is like that for me is like sometimes it's surprising because um, when you're the space of allowance for others, then all of a sudden they become more an allowance of themselves. And when they become more an allowance of themselves, they become a lot more vulnerable. And they become a lot more vulnerable and they open up. And it's a beautiful process, and I think that it is definitely my awareness is it's definitely something that keeps me going as doing what I do. You know what I mean? Keeps me excited about choosing more. um, and I love that, and I often walk around. I will walk around the city, whether it's New York or whether it's Mexico City or wherever I am, and I'll just observe people. And I have to say one of the gifts that has come from all of these tools and learning all these tools is to be able to see through people's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And and whatever it is that they are wearing on the outside, for most people, it's not who they truly be. And so to go through a city and to pick up people's energies and see people's energies and to see it where they are, and I always just kind of like surround them in unconditional love. And I always surround them in gratitude and light. And no matter what they're doing, no matter where they are, I know, I know in my heart that they perceive that energy. And so oftentimes we think that we can't impact other people's lives, whether, for whatever reason. But, guys, we have the opportunity to impact everybody's life from here, from this space,
Yes.
from right now. And we have the opportunity to impact anyone in the world, including the world, just from your infinite being, from who you truly be.
True. So true. So true, Daniel. Next question, please. He can't still hear me, so you have to type in the questions.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. What
Yeah.
incredible questions are you asking? It's so awesome. What does your journey to fully embrace your fabulous self look like? That's such a great question. What I would recommend is for everyone to ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what journey can I take today to fully embrace my fabulous
Fabulous
self?
self.
What journey? So, how potent are you for asking this question that you've just created so much for everyone? If everyone here, if every single one of us, and I'm going to make note of this too, because you're being a contribution for me. So, thank you so much. What does your journey to fully embracing your fabulous self look like? So, if we all woke up every day and we said, how can I be more fabulously me today? And we destroy and uncreate all of that immediately, then we will start to have and create more of an awareness of who our fabulous self truly, truly be, right? One of the things that I do is every morning when I wake up, I always connect to the universe and I say, what grand and glorious adventures await me today?
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
asking the question brings on and invites the
Yeah,
possibilities, right? You never know.
I
You
love that.
never know. Like this is such a great example, Karen. How beautiful you guys like opened up your heart and your space and you said, "Hey, we'd love to introduce you to our community." And that was so kind and that was such a contribution. And what else is possible now, you know?
Right.
And what else can we create? What magic, miracles, mysteries, possibilities can we and all of our contribution on our infinite beings be to truly create more in this world, to create a community of like-minded, like-hearted people who are choosing consciousness? And
Themselves.
anything that doesn't allow that, can we please destroy and
Try
uncreate
and
that?
create. Rare, wrong, good and
Yep.
bad, pad and puck, online shorts, boys and
Whew.
beyonds. Yes, let's destroy and create.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get straight to the point. How can one be fabulously you? Well, first of all, you should begin by asking those questions because that's amazing. How can I be fabulously me? How can I be more fabulously me today? Remember, because we're all fabulous. We're all fabulous. Every single one of us is fabulous beyond fabulous. It's just a matter of tapping into that energy and seeing what your brand of fabulous is. We all have a different brand of fabulous. Like for
The
example,
fabulous.
Junaline. Junaline, I found Junaline. I met Junaline on Instagram. I think I saw her doing like a live or something, and then I followed her, and then I found her on Facebook, and then I connected with her on Facebook. It was quote unquote random, as this reality likes to say, but I
Right.
had been asking for someone like Junaline to come into my universe to play. Okay. Like I
Wow.
was asking the universe, I was like, okay, so what would it take to meet people who are as fabulous as I am? Or who are
Right.
even more fabulous than me, who I could become and learn more fabulosity by, right? And
Right.
Junaline showed up
Right.
in my universe. And Junaline and I started to do her things and I started to participate in some of her workshops. And I was like, this woman is fabulous. And the minute that I started to connect to her, I started to say, you know what? I want more of that. What will
Right.
it take to me for me to have more of that? And then you know what I realized, Karen, is I realized that I've been doing that since I was probably about 8 years old, right? Because I grew up loving Madonna, like the pop star Madonna. I was obsessed with Madonna. And I remember I wanted to emulate her. I wanted to be her, you know? And
Madonna.
in my own way, even back then I was asking, what what will it take for me to be like that? What will it take for me to have that amount of let's say energy to be able to truly truly not give a shit what people think
Right.
about you,
Right. Right.
or at least project that out into the world. And that's definitely what I learned from Madonna, but I learned from Madonna by asking those questions. And it's the same with Junaline and all of us to become more fabulously us. If you don't feel fabulous, guys, ask, why the heck don't I see my fabulousness, and what will it take for me to see my fabulousness? You know,
Yes.
what will it take for me to see my fabulousness and embrace my
Yes.
fabulousness? And you know what? That shift in energy is going to make people go, "Whoa, Karen, I don't know who you are. I don't know who this version of you is, but man, you are a lot." And that energy is going to make you want to shrink and go back to being your unfabulous self. We've all
True.
been there. But
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
point in which you say, give me more. In Access, we have this really, really cool tool. I will tell you, it changes everything because I told you about allowance. And so, one of the things we even do is we actually allow others to judge us. And when we allow someone else to judge us, if you imagine that every time somebody judges you, they give you $5,000, would you care if people judged you?
No.
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 You would say,
No. No.
judge me
No.
more,
Yes.
judge me
Yes.
more, judge me more. Go ahead, judge me more. And and on the flip side of that, Gary says, if you resist and react instead of allowing someone to judge you, then you have to pay them $10,000. So do you want to receive $5,000 or do you want to pay $10,000?
Receive. 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 Of course. Receive.
Receive, give it to
Receive.
me.
Receive
And
five
so
thousand
as
dollars.
somebody, exactly, as somebody is judging you, you can just look at them and say, thank
Thank
you.
you.
You know, I'm
Yes.
willing to receive that. And you say, oh, judge me more, judge me more, judge me more. And I imagine pulling energy from them. And then all of a sudden the energy dissipates. They go away. They go away,
Agree.
or they shut up, or they become quiet, or all of a sudden they get distracted. But it's that space of pulling that energy from them that you become fully you and you stay in your power of who you be. And then you know what? The more you get into that habit of asking those questions and being that space for allowance, then guess what happens? People start to say, exactly like all of you who are here, who are so kind to call me so fabulous, all of a sudden you see people reverberating what you know to be true in your heart. You know, I know I'm fabulous. I don't doubt that I'm fabulous. I don't doubt that I'm awesome, that I'm freaking fabulous. Okay. And all of
Freaking
you
fabulous.
who actually express that to me are just a confirmation of what I already know. So,
Yes.
what would it take for all of us to know who we truly be, to allow ourselves to truly be us in all of our magnificence, in all of our magnitude? And anything that doesn't allow that, can we just destroy and uncreate it?
Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, bad and pak on, version
Ah,
twice and beyond. So
so
beautiful.
awesome.
So awesome. Yeah. Freaking awesome. Freaking awesome.
So awesome, right?
Yes, it is
Karen,
awesome.
I'm so
So
sorry
great.
that I'm having this audio issue and I can't understand you. It's really
It's okay.
frustrating.
I'm good.
It's okay?
I'm
It's
good.
everything is
Yeah.
okay? Everything is
Yes,
okay?
everything's good. You just answer
Okay.
the
Maybe it's
questions.
the Mexican Wi-Fi, you know, it's like the middle of the night here, so maybe they like dim it down or something. I don't even know.
Probably. Probably.
So, is there another question? How can
Yeah.
you be
How can you be
bluntly honest
bluntly
with yourself?
honest with yourself?
Also, amazing question. You know, you can always ask truth, am I being honest with myself? You know, and you can just ask, like, take a day and get to know who you truly be. You can ask truth, am I being honest with myself? Am I honest with myself? Truth, am I honest with myself? Truth, am I honest with myself? And anything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it.
I'm created.
Truth, am I honest
Yes.
with myself? Am I being honest with myself? Am I showing up honestly and authentically? Is it light for me? Are the things that I'm choosing to be in this universe light? And go with that energy and see what comes up for you, right? Most of us are kind of taught to lie to ourselves. We're taught
True.
that we need to lie to ourselves because in our lies to ourselves, we make others feel comfortable around us, right? But
Right.
I know that, you know, to be really vulnerable with you guys, I had a huge phase of my life that I would say I was just a liar. right? I was a liar mostly to myself and very much to the world. I would make up these fantasies of who I was because I didn't want people to know who I truly was. Meaning, you know, I had a great childhood. I had a great I grew up in a loving home, have amazing parents. I was a C student, as we would say in America, not so academically inclined. Um, and I hid a lot behind what I perceived to be mediocrity, right? I thought that my life was mediocre. I thought that I didn't have a story. I didn't have a story like other people had. And so I would make them up. I would make up my stories. I would make up my stories. I remember in third grade, um, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, right? For those of you know Orlando, Orlando's the home of Disney World. We also have a place called Epcot Center, which I'm sure you've heard of as well. And Epcot Center is this this pavilion, if you will, and it's all around this giant lake, and there's all these different countries, right? So you have Mexico and Norway and China and Japan and Morocco and the US and Canada and all these different places. And as long as I've ever known, as long as I've ever remembered, as long as I can remember, it's always been my dream to travel the world and to meet different cultures and to go to different places and to do different things and to experience things. And so my grandmother, she was extremely fabulous. She would take me to Epcot a lot. So we went to Epcot a lot. And I remember one particular year, I was in third grade, and she took me to Epcot for, I think it was like really one of the first times. And I became obsessed with Japanese culture. And
Japanese.
she bought me all of these things. She bought me chopsticks that had my name on them. She bought
So
me
beautiful.
like a beautiful embroidered kimono type shirt. And and we went back to school and we had show and tell. And show and tell was like when you got up in front of the class and you
Yes.
talked about something.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
so the teacher said, she
You have
said,
show and tell.
who wants to come and share what they did for spring break? So I got up and I was like, I do. And I had my chopsticks and I had everything. And I got up there and she goes, what did you do? What did you do for spring break? And I said, well, I went to Japan. I went to Tokyo. And the teacher was like, really? And I was like, mm-hmm. And because I was
Yes.
so keen on culture, I knew all the facts. Like I even learned how to
Yes.
say some things in Japanese. And I had all the facts. I had everything situated. And I sat there in front of the room and I convinced a group of 30 kids and adults that I
That you
had
went to
gone
Japan. To
to
Japan.
Japan for spring break. And the teacher goes, this is where she really stumped me. She goes, how did you get there? And I said, well, we drove.
You can't. You have to fly. That's when she knew
Sorry.
you were
So that was
lying.
like, I think the nail in the coffin. But I was so good at creating this elaborate story because in my world, Karen, I I was experiencing Japan. I had been to Japan. I knew the
Right.
culture, I knew the people, and I loved
Right.
it so much. But I spent a lot of my life creating those stories, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, my life wasn't that fabulous, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to
Mm-hmm.
be fabulous.
To be
Yet
fabulous.
little did I
Yes.
know that the most fabulous thing that I could possibly be was who I really was, but I was unwilling to show that. I remember
Yeah.
also, speaking of show and tell, I used to play with Barbies or dolls when I was a kid, and I'd have to
Yes.
sneak them from my aunt, my big sister. She's like my big
Mm.
sister. I would sneak them and I'd play with them. And I remember one time I snuck one of the dolls to to school. So I took this doll
Yeah.
to school, and for show and tell, I shared this doll, and all the kids made fun of me. And I remember having this awareness of, oh, that's wrong. I'm not supposed to play with
To play
dolls.
with dolls.
And that's bad. And I think I shouldn't do this anymore. And so, of course, we all want to be liked. We all want to be loved.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I hid that. I definitely hid that. So that's such a
Thank
great
you.
question. And I hope it answered what you were
Yes. Thank
asking.
you so much.
Really,
Yeah.
really. To be honest with yourself is to be so present, to say, to check in all the time and say, what am I feeling? What am I
Right.
aware of? What are these thoughts, feelings, and emotions that keep popping up for me? And what can I do with them? A lot of times
Right.
we want to take them on. And instead, that's not true. That's not honest with you. That's not being honest with us, right? It's that's not the space of allowance of who you truly be. So when you start to identify the energy that is yours and it's not yours, then you can start to be honest with yourself, you know?
True. Thank you. Lali, we're down to our last question. I think can you just ask Daniel about the provocative his website? Because it's almost 9 o'clock PM. Can you please type about can you ask something about his website? And
Are you speaking
then
to me or are you
final
speaking to
words.
them?
I'm speaking to them. To them.
Okay,
So they
okay,
can
okay.
type
Good.
so they can type in your question. You still can hear me. Yeah. Lali, can you type
Okay.
about the provocative Daniels? Yeah, this one. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, of course. So, they call me the provocative intuitive. And what does that mean? A lot of people think that to be provocative means that you have to take your clothes off and do crazy things and all that kind of stuff. And what I know to be true is that to be provocative is to truly, truly be you, right? When we are truly being us, then it's oftentimes the most provocative thing that we can be because we're so blunt and we're so honest and we're so true with who we be. And that's how we show up. When we show up connected to that energy, then oftentimes it's provocative. And I think for me, in my practice, in my daily practice, and also my practice with my clients and my students, I have a gift and an ability to be able to see people's limitations. I have a gift and an ability to see somebody's garbage or what's blocking them or what's getting in their way. And I used to observe that energy and not say anything because I didn't want to hurt their feelings, right? Or I didn't want to offend them, or I didn't want to be seen as mean, or I didn't want to be
Yes.
seen taken the wrong way, all of those things. And so I would hold those things in. When I began to do this work in Access, I realized that I wasn't doing anybody a favor. I wasn't doing anybody a favor, especially the people that were coming to me and paying a lot of money to have a healing session with me or to have a facilitation with me. And so I started to be brutally, brutally, and kindly, brutally honest with people. And that kind, brutal honesty was one of those things that was received a heck of a lot better than I thought, right? And so I would see somebody's limitation and I would call them out on it. I'd call them out on their shit. I'd call them out on their garbage. And when I would do that, they would always come back and they'd say, "Wow, thank you for having the
Right.
courage to tell me the truth. Thank you for having the courage to say to me what I've always known but was unwilling to say to myself." And so, truthfully, when we're provocative, what we're doing is we're shifting energy, right? We're not shifting energy just to get attention. We're shifting energy to create more allowance in the world. We're shifting energy to empower others to be them. And I want to be very, very clear that this is something that I have honed. This is a skill of mine. And that's why the agency that I work with branded me the provocative intuitive. I want to say this because it's I don't I would like for you to think also to become more conscious of why we say things, right?
Yes.
Just
Of
because
course.
this is what I see, it's not necessarily a license to go around telling people what's wrong with them. Because I'm not going around telling people what's wrong with them. I'm seeing what their limitation is and I'm helping them to go to a different level. I'm
Yes.
helping them to pierce through what it is so that they can have the awareness themselves. So I want to be
True.
very clear that being provocative is not about you and your ego. It's not about
Mhm.
you feeling like you're powerful and sexy and strong, and which is awesome, but not at somebody else's expense. You know, if I'm sexy, if I'm awesome, if I'm fabulous, you know what? I want you, Karen. I want you to be awesome. I want you to be sexy. I want you to be fabulous. That's what I would love for you to see, what I would love to see you choose for yourself. I can't make you
Yeah.
be those things, right?
True.
But I would like to be the invitation for those things. And and yeah, so we want to ask questions about that too. Like how can I connect with others in a way that's authentic? Sometimes our authenticity is provocative. Telling
Yes.
someone or
So true.
something that it doesn't align with you, or telling someone that whatever they're projecting at you doesn't work for you and walking away is also very provocative. Because how many
Yes.
times have we sat there and taken on other
True.
people's crap because we didn't want to hurt them, we didn't want to offend them? It doesn't contribute to you. If it's not light for you, choose differently.
Yes.
So that's
So
to me
true.
what being provocative is about, you know?
Yeah. And last question.
Oh, guys, what is my parting message for you? My parting messages for you is don't part. Don't ever part. Be one. Let's all absolutely continue to ask questions of ourselves, ask questions of the universe, become more and more of a community. I really, really have so much respect, Karen, for what you and Mariel and everyone is doing here at the online healing community, because we need more of this. The earth requires more of this. And
Yes.
and the more that we take the opportunity to have these discussions, to create more opportunities to share, to collaborate, then we create greater in the world. And this doesn't have to be the last time that we do this. I know it won't be the last time. We'll
Yes.
do it
Yes.
again when I have really good Wi-Fi and we can have a real conversation.
Yes.
And I will also have
Yes.
you in my
Yes.
circles, in my shows and whatever, because I want to hear, I
Yes.
want to learn more about what you guys are doing. So it's just, don't part. Let's just say until next time, or as we say in Mexico, hasta luego, until we see you
Solo way
again.
go.
And I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate I appreciate you so much, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful to be able to do the work that I do, and to share it with the world. And what will it take? What will it take for us to have more of this energy?
Yes.
Guys, if you have never had your bars run or you don't know what the Access Bars is, go take a class anywhere in the world, wherever you are. Go take a class. Do it. Come back. Do foundation with me or with Junaline or with somebody that resonates with you.
Yes.
Expand your world, expand your universe. When we ask questions to facilitate greater consciousness within us, our entire reality shifts. There's
True.
another, I will actually leave you with this amazing, amazing access tool that is such a contribution. And one of the, let's say, 10 keys to total freedom that Gary says of access is no competition, only collaboration.
Collaboration.
And collaboration is the new competition. We used to live in this world in which we used to live in this reality where it was, oh, this one is better than me, or he has more numbers, or he has more followers, or she
Yes.
does this,
Yes.
or she does that,
Yes.
and this, and this is that. And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And we would compare ourselves to other
Yeah.
people. We compare ourselves to other situations, other institutions. And that comparison is keeping us locked. It's keeping us locked into what is so stifling, what is so crippling, what is so blocks us off. And we want to be a space for more. And when we're in true, true, true collaboration, Karen, we can be and do and have everything. And so what would it take? What would it take for all of us to be in collaboration with each other all the time? To recognize that, there are 8 billion people in the world. 8
True.
billion people in the world. We cannot have enough conscious healers in the world.
True.
We cannot.
So
We
true.
cannot. Until there's 8 billion conscious healers, we we don't have enough healers. People often say to me, well, this
Yeah.
is becoming so popular, this becoming a healer and doing this, and whether it's Reiki or theta healing or access consciousness or any of these other things, like everybody's an expert in something.
Yes.
And And how does anybody make money? Or how does anybody have a following? Or how does anybody have students? And the question is, how do we not? When you say, how do I not have any? Then you block off your ability to have more
That's true.
students, to have more opportunities, you know?
True.
And we want to be in that space of allowance to just be, to welcome so much more, you know?
So
So thank
true.
you for the invitation, Karen, Muriel. Thank you guys so, so much. I appreciate you all. And I
Thank
look forward to
you.
next time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We appreciate you and all the things you shared with us. Thank you so much. But I guess
Thank
it's goodbye
you.
for now, but we'll see you soon. Thank you, Marielle, for making
Yes,
this
I'm gonna
happen.
give you a big hug.
Hug.
Ah!
Thank you,
And I'm giving you
Lali. Also,
all.
thank you,
That
everyone,
one
for
is
watching.
especially for you, Karen. And now this one is for everybody. This is for the community. Ah, I'm giving you guys
Hug.
all a big hug. Ah,
Oh,
mahal
that's so
kita.
beautiful.
Salama
Mahal
po.
kita. Thank you so much.
Mwah! Thank you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye. See you
Have an
soon.
amazing
Bye.
day.